I'm your superhero. There when you fall through it all, you can call on me. You can call on me. I'm your superhero. Save you from this world, baby girl. Put it all on me. 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 Put it all on me.
What up, though, everybody? Welcome to the very first video of the Shot of Dark Gaming channel. On this channel, we're going to be talking about the next generation consoles, peripherals, all of their specs, games, and any other info you could want to know until they come out and how they do after. Anything you want to know will be right here at this channel. So you can hit that subscribe button. You can hit that bell so you get a notification anytime we post a new video, and you can keep up to date with what we're doing. Okay, so a small introduction of who I am is in order. My name is Shot of Dark. I'm a gamer, musician, entrepreneur, but first and foremost, I'm a father of two little boys who play the game just like I do every day. More on those two later. I've been gaming ever since I was able to hold a controller in my hands, much like my sons do now, and I can attribute playing games to keeping me out of trouble or teaching me enough about problem solving that I never got caught. So, from the Sega to the classic NES, Game Boy to Game Gear, PlayStation to Xbox and PC, I can almost assure you I put in the time, passion, and understanding of games to share my experiences and knowledge with other like-minded gamers and people who are just interested in games as much as I am. My goal on this channel is being the most honest, straightforward, and transparent person I can possibly be with my community as much as I can. And anybody who know me knows that, PlayStation is my home. But I got all the consoles because I'm a gamer. That's point blank, period. Plus, I have two sons that I want to basically experience whatever games they want and enjoy them regardless of my preference of hardware. So at the end of the day, we live for games. We love them. So let's play. Now that everybody know who I am, let's get to the point of this video. Games. Or consoles, or both, whatever. So today we're going to talk about Sony's marketing campaign for the PS5 and what that means. We're also going to talk about how some devs are using the DualSense controller for the PS5. And we're going to end with that 51 minutes some media people in the UK got to spend seeing the PS5 in action firsthand. Okay? So Sony has started their PS5 marketing campaign, and the very first ad is basically focused on the DualSense controller and how it will make you feel more immersed in the game that you're playing. Whether that's through its next-gen adaptive triggers or the HD rumble haptic feedback that developers have clearly been spending a lot of time with, implementing a lot of different ways that you'll be using these features in their games this upcoming holiday season and beyond. To be honest, this is one of the biggest things I'm excited for from the next generation of consoles, a new controller. Of course, both the Xbox and the DualShock controllers are fine, but with a new generation, I feel that for me, this could change how we play games and interact with them on another level than the previous generation. Sound, visuals, and the feel of games are three key points Sony are betting on next gen, and I'm basically excited to see what devs can bring to the table. Now, before we get into what the devs are saying, let's talk about what this marketing campaign starting actually means as far as price, release date, and pre-orders. There's been a lot of rumors about the next-gen consoles and their price and release dates. I'll tell you now, nothing indicates a company getting ready to release info about price and release date more than this ad. When a company spends money to start creating commercials for a product, you can almost guarantee that product is close to going live within the next 3 to 4 months. Especially when it comes to opening the door for pre-orders so you can gauge how many units will be sold this holiday and what type of demand you're looking at. You definitely need a few months to see how that pans out when it comes to these big releases like this. There's also been a rumor that Sony has an upcoming event at the end of August. At the same time, we have Jeff Keighley of the Game Awards, many of you know who this is, tweeting out today that next week will be a big week for gaming. Wonder if that has something to do with the next Call of Duty Cold War reveal, or do Jeff obviously know something about Gamescom that we don't, and we all know, of course, he does. So, whether or not Sony has something lined up, it does coincide with the rumors we've been hearing lately. If this is true, hopefully we'll get that info so many have been eagerly waiting for months. Also, to get that paired with a teardown of the PS5, which usually happens before pricing and pre-order, you can guarantee that's money well spent on day one for me. What about you? Are you planning on getting a PS5 on day one? Are you waiting? Or are you getting something else altogether? Let me know in the comments below. Now, aside from that ad that was released, there was also a blog post on blog.playstation.com. It was very interesting to say the least. I say that because the support for the touchpad on the DualShock 4 had almost no support coming out the gate, except for smaller titles. And here you see how many AAA and smaller titles have adapted the new controller and are finding interesting ways to use it in their game this early on. And it leaves me very hopeful for where the support will end up for the DualSense in the future. So let's look at what some of them had to say, then I'll give you my reaction after we read it. And the very first person that we're going to be looking at and reading what he had to say is Brian Horton, the creative director of Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. And he had this to say. The haptic feedback precision allows us to do all sorts of new things, and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales will be hinting to players which directions attacks are coming from by providing haptic feedback from the appropriate direction on the DualSense wireless controller. What does it feel like to use Miles' stealth ability? How does a Venom blast feel? Because of the high resolution of DualSense wireless controller's haptic system, we can really push the dimensionality of the feedback. For instance, as you hold down square to do a Venom punch, you feel Spider-Man's bioelectricity crackle across from the left side of the controller, culminating in the right side on impact. And he ends it there. So, basically, what he's saying is you would be able to get a sense of, or use your spider senses to sense which direction an enemy is attacking you from, and the controller will actually provide the feedback with a directional rumble in some sort that will let you know that you need to dodge from that direction, or you need to move out the way from that direction because an enemy is getting ready to attack you. Or if you're charging up a punch, a Venom punch, you can actually feel the rumble go across the controller, and when you release it, you can feel the impact when he hits an enemy. And that's next level stuff right there, to be honest. And that's the type of stuff that I mean about going forward and pushing the envelope and making it a next generation, instead of having the same types of things that we are experiencing now and that we used to. Break us out of our comfort zone and get us into something new in this next generation. All right, so the next person that I'm going to be talking about is Dinga Bakaba. I don't want to ruin their name. I apologize if I did. But they're the game director of Deathloop, a timed exclusive for a PS5 that just got delayed not a few days ago. If you haven't heard, now you heard it here. So they had this to say about the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. I'm really excited by the adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback, both features that will bring some physicality in game experiences and give important feedback. Deathloop being a first-person shooter, we do a lot of things to make weapons feel differently from one another. One I like is blocking the triggers when your weapon jams to give the player an immediate feedback even before the animation plays out, which prompts the player in a physical way that they have to unjam their gun. So, basically what they're saying is, and this is going to be funny to see how this works out, because you got some people who play their games, and if you have a mechanism in the controller that locks it so it doesn't actually squeeze the trigger, and they just aggressive and I don't know what's going through their mind, but they just like squeezing their controller like crazy, like they think it's broke and they'll just squeeze it. I wonder how durable these controllers going to be in the future, man. Like these DualSense controllers. So they have these things, these adaptive triggers, and people think their controller is messed up and they try to squeeze it really hard and it break their controller. So, interesting to see. And the last one I'm really going to look at, I'm not going to read all of them here, but I'm going to read from Kenji Kimura, the director of Ghostwire Tokyo. And this one is kind of interesting because this is where I kind of seen stuff going when they would start talking about the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers and stuff. These were the ideas that I had in my mind. And so it was interesting to see a developer out there that was actually thinking along the same lines I was when it comes to using this in a particular way. So he says this: Just as the name trigger suggests, the main use of the DualSense wireless controller's adaptive triggers in Ghostwire Tokyo is for active actions, to shoot or trigger something. And we also use them to create the sensation of recoil. We're also looking at ways to take advantage of the adaptive triggers to express a sense of persistent energy, or a balance of forces, if you will, and for perhaps actions such as charging, loading, and a sense of accumulation of power or energy for things. The haptic feedback, in comparison to the vibration function of previous generations, allows us to utilize a much wider range, starting from a very strong vibration that is much more powerful than before, down to extremely light vibration. This way we can offer players very detailed texture nuances. Because of this, our approach is different. It isn't a transient or a constant vibration level anymore. It allows us to meticulously adjust the feedback throughout the game. Okay, what really excited me about that was when he said to take advantage of the adaptive triggers to express a sense of persistent energy, or a balance of forces, if you will. You know, when I heard that, I kind of immediately thought back to Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, when you would be playing against somebody online or something, and you guys would hit a Kamehameha wave at the same time or something, and you'd have to rotate the right and left stick at the same time to like balance the forces and see who actually out. But in that sense, to feel the actual energy is what I mean. Like, you shoot a blast at somebody, or you charging up a blast, and you can feel your trigger kind of like vibrating until it is pushing your finger up, because it's like it can't contain it, and then you let it go, and then it explodes all of the energy. Or if you play an online game and then you like shoot a beam of energy at somebody, and you can feel the haptic feedback in your controller. You can feel it vibrating across the controller, because it's a massive amount of energy between you and the other player that's kind of trying to balance out the forces. And the more you go down on your right trigger, the more force you actually putting on their side, and the more force they putting on you is actually pushing your right trigger up. I mean, it's just different ways that they can be innovative and make these things work very good for the consumer. And it was very interesting for me to hear him say things like that, because those are the things that I was thinking about as a person who plays video games, and what I want to feel when I play the game, and how how I want things to react when I play the video game. That would be cool. That would be very cool to see a developer do. It'd be cool to see them actually implement that in a game and give it to us and let us just have some fun with it. Even if it doesn't even really matter what type of game it is, as long as we can experience something that we can have fun with, like Fall Guys. As long as we can experience something we can have fun with, I'm pretty sure that people will take it up, and it'll be a good thing for us to have going into the PlayStation 5. Also, for them to show how good the haptic feedback and how good the adaptive triggers are in the PS5's DualSense controller. Now, again, as I said before, the early support for this controller looks promising. I can't wait to experience the haptics in Spider-Man Miles Morales, where you can feel the Venom Blast being released and the impact on the enemy, or the adaptive triggers that make you feel the gun jam in Deathloop, or even how Ghostwire Tokyo is thinking of new ways to make it feel like you're bottling up energy and releasing it in a blast. These are all new ways to interact with the games we play, and Sony has me excited to experience something new this holiday season. Finally, we're going to close with this closed-door, very private media event that was only available to a few media outlets and influencers in the UK who were able to see the PS5 in action for their very first time. Now, don't get too excited, because they weren't able to do anything hands-on with the PS5 itself, but they were shown a few things that they can't talk about due to the strict NDA they signed at the beginning of the event. But apparently, from what some people who attended the event are saying, is that we should be prepared for some amazing things, and people should really be excited about what PlayStation is about to bring to the table. We have people saying the graphics are incredible, and the YouTube videos can do no justice to what was being shown. Not only did it look amazing, but it was blazing fast, and textures were loading in as far as the eye could see. Ended by saying that everyone would want one, but there won't be enough to go around. Due to the high demand of these consoles, that usually will be the case. Now, at the end of this event, they showed off a 90-second sizzle reel that was said to show some new, never-before-seen IPs, and some older ones brought up basically enhanced for the newer generation of gamers. Obviously, they couldn't share which ones due to the NDA everyone was under, but said that the sizzle reel may not even be shown to the public and may only be for the media who attends these events. With all the latest info coming up about the PS5, nothing has ever had me this excited about getting a new console. I mean, I literally started making videos talking about how excited I am about the PS5. So we're going to see how things go next week as Gamescom starts and we start getting info flooding in about these games and consoles, and we'll go from there. My plan is to start doing these videos daily and giving you guys info as it comes in and as it becomes available. I don't have any inside sources that I get my info from. I'm not an insider, nor am I a journalist. I'm just a gamer who loves to talk about games. Do have a job, so I'll do videos as much as I can to update you guys on the most important things that I come up with. And I won't waste your time with countless rumors and speculation, but I will always tag it as such when it's applicable. Now, this is my very first video, so of course I've had a couple of hiccups already, and I've already had a crazy time trying to put this together. In the first place, it took me almost the entire day to get this video together. So any support from you guys, I would really appreciate it. You know, we'll get everything, the content creation and everything a lot better going forward as we build this channel up into what it's going to be. So whatever support I get, I really appreciate it from you guys, you know. And if you like what I'm trying to do here and you want to support the channel in any way, please hit the like and subscribe button. And even if you didn't like it, you can hit that dislike button as well. You can follow me on Twitter and also on Twitch at Shot of Dark. On Twitter and on Twitch, you don't have to put gaming. You can just put Shot of Dark. 2Ks, okay? To see when I go live or when I'm bored tweeting devs. But all right, catch y'all later. Remember, we live for games. We love them. Let's play them. Peace, everybody.